Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 31 of our slow and immersive honor mode run of Baldur's Gate 3. This is a solo challenge run where we are playing as the Dark Urge, and I'm playing Dark Urge for the first time. And we're pursuing the evil arc of the Dark Urge story. We're playing as Zervash, level 7 White Dragonborn Eldritch Knight. We're going full Eldritch Knight for this playthrough, focusing our fighter, however, around mage armor and therefore cloth armor in a somewhat unorthodox, I think, build that's been working out very well for us so far. We're also using pole arms, namely glaives, as our weapon of choice. We therefore picked up Polearm Master level 4 and then Sentinel at level 6, but we have since we respec that pretty quickly into Savage Attacker because Sentinel didn't actually work the way we intended. I won't recount the first act because I've done that many times now, but effectively we're trying to kind of wreak as much havoc and carnage in our wake, and we've done so in the first map. We slaughtered the Goblin Camp and the Grove, killed every companion except Astarion, killed every legendary, pretty much, killed everyone we possibly could in both, the Wilderness, the Grove, the Underdark, and Grimforge, of course, and the Rosemont Monastery and the Crash. In the previous 2-3 episodes, we've crossed over the mountain pass here, faced the Drider to get the lantern off of him, then explored Moonrise Towers, and then investigated Selûnite resistance, coming up to Last Light Inn. And in the previous crazy episode, well, actually, two-part episode, in the previous two-part, we kind of came to Last Light Inn and then dealt with Marcus, who was trying to kidnap Isabel. Now, we didn't do that out of the goodness of our own heart. We actually have our own eye on Isabel, it seems, because it was just very tempting for us to A, kill her, B, cause as much carnage and havoc as we have. Like, we wouldn't be us if we just left this peaceful settlement get on with its daily chores, would we? But we also actually added reason on top of it all, which is quite interesting. We actually have Pixel Blessing and Blessing of Selûne. Ugh, disgusting. Ugh, okay. But we also kind of learned from Marcus tentatively that this girl, this cleric of Selûne, is somehow, although we don't know how exactly, is potentially empowering Ketheric. And since we have also heard a voice in our head saying something about we used to receive a god's welcome in this throne room of Moonrise Towers, and we wanted to lacerate Ketheric, so we definitely want to kill Ketheric. To be honest, maybe even primarily because of that. Secondarily, because we want to get rid of the tadpole. But we want to weaken him in any way possible. So, in the previous episode, we did manage to save Isabel from Marcus in an absolute miracle. It was a miracle, guys. Watch that episode. It was the craziest roll you've ever seen in Baldur's Gate 3. I'm telling you. Definitely among top 10. Anyway, though, in this episode, we shall proceed. And yeah, we just can't resist. We already had the voices whisper in our head. Because as soon as we've learned that Isabel is the one kind of powering this shield that's preventing Last Light Inn from collapsing into the, abyss, basically, is her. We obviously want to kill her. So let's go ahead and chat to her.
Every scrap of your marrow yearns to end her. Dooming the village would bring foul glory. You can almost taste it.
On with you. Unless you want to come back to a gaggle of shadow-cursed harpers.
My blood. It's telling me to kill you. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, guys. And I was hoping we could actually do this through dialogue. Attack her. The urge aches for it. Yes, could be entertaining. I still have a few questions. When did that happen? I saw Ketheric Moonrise Towers. He was presiding over a trial. Let's just chat to her a little bit.
Almost laughable that he sees himself fit to judge anyone. Did you learn anything about how we might defeat him?
Not yet, but I think I'm on the right track.
That's fantastic. Well done. I'm glad you've made progress. Protecting this inn, well, it takes it out of you. I'll hold out as long as I can. By the sound of things, we'll have a more permanent solution soon. So glad you're on our side.
I have a few questions.
Go on, then.
Oh, come on. Don't... Okay, well, let's chat to her. Wait, come on. There's no way. If I miss that dialogue option, I'm going to be livid. This curse seems incredibly powerful. What more can you tell me about it?
It belongs to the goddess Shar. According to the Harpers, it fell here when they defeated Ketheric, the one who tried to have me kidnapped. I suppose they didn't defeat him quite hard enough.
How did you come to this place?
Right place, right time. When a cleric of Selûne stumbles into a Sharan shadow, she's bound to set it to rights. At any cost.
I don't know much about you. Care to fill in the blanks? I'm not overly familiar even with Selûne and Shar. Could you enlighten me?
Moon and shadow. Light and dark. Divine sisters ever at war. And this place has become one more battlefield. Sometimes life forces us to choose sides. Luckily, sometimes the choice is obvious.
Still don't know much about you, though. Care to fill in the blanks?
I could say the same. But perhaps we should save the trivia till we're on the other side of this thing. Promise not to die, and we'll celebrate with our life stories.
Okay, let's try this
Don't
again.
let Jaheira catch you dawdling.
There is something about her. It would be wonderful to kill her. A perfect tragedy.
I know, so righteous. I have news about Ketheric. I've been tasked with retrieving something important to him. Seems like a good lead. Okay, I'm now confident that this is going to persist, so let's just get a bit of dialogue, bit of the story here.
That's incredible news. I won't ask for the specifics as to how you uncovered that. But I'm grateful you've done whatever it takes. I can't believe there's an end in sight. Thank you.
Yeah, this is resisting, right? Attack her, the urge aches for it.
Moon Maiden, have mercy on this poor soul.
I assume we're gonna have people joining us very shortly. Oh! Alright. Not a lot, I'd have to say. Expecting a little bit more there. Let's just go to town on it, really, right? Boom! Oh. That was fun to watch.
Isabel! No! What in the nine hells happened?
What? What? How was she stolen again? It looks like some kind of terrible accident. What? The ghouls still kidnap her? Come on. It looks like some kind of terrible accident. It looks like one of our enemies got hold of her. There's no time for this, Jaheira. With that Isabel, the shadows will run this place. Isabel and I got into a little spat.
A little spat. I can't believe I didn't see you for what you are. A murderer. You killed her. And in doing so, you've spelled our doom. I gave you my trust too easily. But with the same ease, I swear I'll strike you down. Harpers, we must cleanse. But hark. Something stirs.
I have a small hope, guys, that's just kind of... It's like the reused cutscene.
It's happening. They'll all be taken by the shadows. Only by the grace of Isabel's spell will we be spared the same fate. For a little while longer, you and I are destined to fight side by side. But if the Shades don't take you, I have the next claim on your head. Until then, to battle.
Okay. I don't get it. Well, let's just have a look. Is her body still in here? No, she's just been taken. That is weird. But regardless of what happens, she still gets taken. We did get an inspiration for it. Lunar Eclipse. Kill the Protector of Last Light. Okay. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys, I'm back. Don't know. I looked for a bug, but just did a quick Google search for, is this a bug? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, I know. I just hope I haven't messed up the whole story. I mean, we did kill her, but she was kidnapped at the same time. Okay. Fine, let's deal with this. I mean, it's not an easy fight by any means, but it's also not the toughest. To be honest, I think I can get away with this guy. Let Jaheira take the heat here. While we... I think we should just, yeah, try and get them all here and then throw a few bombs that will sort it out. Are these all undead, by the way? Undead, yeah. And this helps us with undead, yeah. Next question is, do we use a scroll or a level 1 spell? I'm gonna use level 1 spell here, save our scrolls just in case. Alright, give ourselves advantage, basically a poor man's blur. So let's just kind of get over here, away from all the archers, and kind of, yeah, we can just let Jaheira handle this. Don't really mind if she dies. Oh, right, pretty good. We still got XP for that, so that's positive. Oh, this mister. 60 HP. Sure. Ooh. What is it with these crits? We've been getting a lot of crits. But we don't have any crit items. Maybe it's the Karmic dice off. Ooh. Haunted one. Forced retirement. Okay, we got the level up. That is a positive. Oh, I'm ready for you. I just want them all to gather around here. Yeah, we have Mrs. Step as well. So, that was actually, by the way, this. Fine. Do we have another wall of fire? Oh, come on. Broke concentration. Damn. Yeah, we... dearie me. Roll the critical fail. Okay, well, fine. Yeah, that will happen. That will happen. All right. How do we deal with all of this? Ooh, black tentacles. That's dirty. That's dirty. That's fine. Let's use our... Yeah, to be honest, it was a mistake to do that anyway, because it's a concentration, and we have much better things to concentrate on here. Yeah, much better things. I don't want to go too far even. Right? Yeah. Much better things to concentrate on. We can still shoot them through this gap here, which I really like. So let's kind of just do... kind of this, right? Boom. Are there any archers in there? Yeah, there are some archers in here, so we do want to kind of... I think we want to tuck ourselves away, like around here. So that we're out of sight of these guys, out of sight of everybody here. We're just gonna, like, stand here. And... watch this play out. Ooh, this guy. Get out of here. Yeah, that was a mistake, to be honest. Okay, I'm good. Well, I guess we wasted a level 1 spell slot. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Why does he hit that? Because he's creating space to come through, I think, right? Ooh. Oh, he saved. He actually did come through. Oof. Oh, he slipped on ice. Okay, we do have another candidate here. I think she could find an angle on us, but we'll get her. No biggie. Oh, don't be shy. Oh! Didn't quite make it, did they? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, the enemies are making space. That is definitely what they're doing. Alright, mister. I think a main attack is enough for you. I think a booming blade. We can't really get here. A booming blade will be good for you. Ooh, come on. Missing a booming blade. Yeah, this is our backup then, sort of thing. Wouldn't hurt to heal either, but I don't think he's a caster. I don't think these guys can cast. I'm gonna tuck myself away again. Trying to hide from this guy. Oof. Look at that damage. Look at that damage. Oh. That is one black tentacle. It's my favorite spell in the game, I think. What an absolute... Oh, save. Get out of here. Jeez, just form a line, guys. Form a line. There's just too many of you. Ah, this thing. Ah, that's fine. Fine. Not sure if she dashed. Yeah, I guess she did. Oh, form a line, ladies and gentlemen. Not just all come in at once. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Concentration throw. Oh, we rolled a 27. To be honest, +3. We do have +8. Okay, we kind of do need to heal here as well. Oh no! Let's take a short rest. Why didn't I take a short rest? Oh, God. An idiot. Idiot. Yeah, this guy is not dangerous, and neither is this guy. I don't like this shadow creeper thing. I do not like this shadow creeper. But even less than this shadow creeper, I like this thing. Squeeze past there. I do not want to use my bonus. I do want to heal here. Oh, what? Critical miss. Come on. Get out of here. I am going to tuck myself back in here. Oh, look at that. Oh, no, that they just hurt. Okay, they didn't actually die, unfortunately. Oh. Oof. Come on. Oh, you know, there's plenty to come. I don't want to lose the concentration on that. Oh, he found an angle here. Yeah, I don't want to lose concentration. That's why I don't want to get hit. Oh, come on. Oh, dear. I mean, we could always just cast another one. Rolled a critical failure again. Okay, this is gonna cost us. This is going to cost us, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to cost us. Fucking shadow creeper. Come on. How could he even do that? 22 AC. He rolled a 25. Fuck. Oh. I mean, we have to, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we just have to. Like, there's no two ways about it. Right? Yeah, no two ways about it. We have to. Like, there's no two ways about it, yeah. We do have the parry apt on us, so we should be okay. Okay, if anyone... I do want to threaten this thing, though. Is it threatened? I think it's weirdly... No, actually, you know what? I'm going to tuck myself in here. Maybe stop that angle. Saved. Oh, the archer saved. Oh, he's gonna find an angle, isn't he? Get out of here. Get out of here. Can't believe it cost us 2 spells. Oh. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. He actually hit us. How did that happen? Oh, they're trying to break through. Okay, the vines. The vines are the real problem. This vine, especially. I can't believe I rolled 2 critical fails. That is impossible. Man, I'm somehow losing it. We've gotta be maybe a little bit... Not sure if I'm being a little too feisty here, you know? Actually can't get out of here. I think we can handle this with 48 HP. Having said that, I mean... I think we need to heal and hope for our AC to work here. Because things could get ugly if we lose concentration at this point. You know? I mean, we are thinning them down, but... Get out of here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it kinda... yes. Oh, come on. Okay, we'll maintain concentration. Ooh. Could get ugly, ladies and gentlemen. We're again, like, we're still losing HP. I mean, there are a lot of them, I guess. Oh my god. Okay, every time we make that roll, guys, my heart thinks, oh my god, wait, okay. I think I've overestimated ourselves, guys, if I'm really honest with you. I think it's code red. We need to get out of here now. Man, our last misstep. And we're out of HP as well. Okay, we missed a step. We do have 2 hits. I mean, to be honest, I could even, like, frost breath these guys. Yeah, I think I've overestimated ourselves, guys, if I'm really honest with you. I think we need to kind of get out, maybe tuck ourselves way back in here. Yeah, I think I've... yeah, I think I did. I think I did. I am going to main attack this thing. That'll be a crit. I am going to booming blade this guy. And then we need to hide in here. Right. Yeah, I mean, we only need to wait like a couple more turns. Oh no. This is not good. I think we can take care of him though. Good thing he had to dash. Oh, another brave soul goes in. Ooh, look at that. Booming blade. Yep. Oh, this is bad. I did not think they could actually get in right into the building. I did not think that.
What now?
What now? Yes, good question. Well, now we need to heal. We need to booming blade this. Gentlemen. To be perfectly honest, I'm comfortable taking an attack opportunity from him. Because we need to kind of deal with this. Yeah. It's just about not enough. This could get ugly, guys. Okay, I'm hoping that this guy can shoot at us still. Dang, this is bad. If I could just tuck myself in there. Yeah, this is bad. This is what I was afraid of. Ooh, okay. That's a positive. Potentially, yeah. Hold on, Master, taking that down. These vines, I didn't account for that. I did not account for these vines going right into... Okay. Let's Let's not play with fire. You, sir. I mean, I could use multi-attack arrow, but I want to get that. Like, I don't think it's necessary. Yeah. I don't like this thing, though. You know, if I have enough movement now, so I'm gonna hit this, whatever that is. Sorry, guys, getting my doorbell wrong. Sorry, delivery. Yeah, so I was about to say, we got that shadow creeper, and now we can safely get back in here, so that archer is not an issue. Oh, yeah, that archer is down. All of these gentlemen. Can't believe we had to spend 2 Ebber's Black Tentacles. Fine, it's fair though. We got very good value out of them. I have to say, I thought this would be even easier, but we almost like went down there. Let's get the angle. I think this is enough movement for an angle. Who's next? 28 HP, Quartermaster Tally. I guess I'm gonna give her a hit. We won't kill her, but it's enough for our Polar Master to finish her off. And we also have Harper Larissa. It needs softening up. I'm gonna take a small one here. Yeah, just on the other side. Close this door. Yeah, so that in case there are any archers coming through. Not sure how we're gonna deal with these plants in the end. But I think if we can just get to them, we should be okay. Let's get out here. I think that gives us enough of an angle. We got our 2 attacks. 10, 17, 1. Quartermaster Tally. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I should be. Take her down. 17, this guy. Soften him up. Yeah, they should die from Ever's Black Tentacles now. I can't believe I forgot to do action surge. Why didn't we do a short rest in between? Sorry guys, yeah. I completely forgot. I just quit the game last time and then completely forgot. Ooh. Alright, I think we can go on the offensive here. I think we can go on the offensive. Tuck ourselves away in case there's I think one more archer here coming through. Is he coming through? Yeah, he could have. Certainly could have. Okay. Again, come out. Holy. I'm curious if they're actually gonna like teleport towards us. I actually wouldn't mind it. I'm gonna take another small because these things are gonna. Yeah, okay, I don't mind that. To be honest, we're gonna cancel. Yeah, this doesn't do anything anymore, so. Now you're critical missing. Yeah, that looked a little spicy there when we lost concentration. I'm not gonna lie. Gotta use a bonus on this thing, and that should kill it. Because I want to keep my main hand. So, you know. Maybe just do some damage on this. Not a fan of sticking my face out for the big guy. Too dark. Get out of here. Okay, 72. Okay, I do want to kind of hide. Yeah. In case these things I can teleport. I'm gonna attack myself away again in here. See what happens. This guy gonna teleport? Nope. Okay, let's give this a go then. I'm gonna try and like stay far away from the other guy. Jump onto here. Go. Oh, come on. What? Come on, it showed that I can. I mean, I guess that's what we intended, so let's go for it. Off balance. Yeah. Oh, come on. I'm not sure what these big ones actually do. Hoping nothing too crazy. Got a critical miss. Merciless Crush. Saved from Merciless Crush. First Thorns. Only one attack left. Do we want to spend that shield? I mean, as we discussed in the previous episodes, we kind of have too many of these. So I think one more here should be okay. Avoid that. I do think that, yeah, Booming Blade here is in order. Nice. I do think with Arcane Synergy, we can take this guy out with one hit. And all we have left is this guy. Oh, come on. Critical miss. Well, we have to like get on top of it. Because otherwise it's too dark. Too dark. Okay, that's not really great. 17 is not something to sniff at, if I'm honest. Oof. Neither is this, though. Neither is this, though. There's nothing to sniff at either. Not really sure how I can hit it from like that far away. Gonna hit me again with this. Oh man, Merciless Crush. What is this bullshit? Merciless Crush. 4 to 24. Crush a foe and then make them prone unless they make a successful dexterity save, which also halves the damage. Successful save target still takes half damage. Okay, anyway. Get rid of this nonsense. Okay, well, I can loot all of this in between, of course, but the thing I'm most interested in, let's check if it really is bugged out. Because it's silly. Maybe I should have taken like a long rest for the game to like register the fact that, you know, before anything happens though.
Better than nothing.
Take a short rest here. Yeah, I guess it's a good thing we use that shield because we're close to a long rest anyway. Yeah, she's gone. Come on, we saved her though. That's just stupid if I'm honest. I don't get it. I really don't get it, to be honest. Like, we killed them, so... I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess. It's purely for the story, though. Okay, where's Quartermaster Tally? Like, the only interesting here is, yeah, Quartermaster Tally. What does she have? 3 Conjure Elemental. What? That's interesting. Hang on, how did that happen? How did that happen? 3 Conjure Elemental, fine. Influence stuff. The Mighty Cloth. Okay, I thought she has my own thing with it on her. Bull Strength. You can... Bull Strength groups go by 2. You cannot be pushed against your will. Yeah, okay. Interesting. A Cloth Armor. This is interesting, actually. A Cloth Armor that increases your strength. This could actually be an alternative. I never thought of this, but this could actually be an alternative to Eldritch Knight if you wanted to make it strength-based. Because you could start with 17 strength, get 1 from Monty Ethel, and wear this, and get 20 strength. And put Gloves of Dexterity on for 18 dexterity, and then use any strength weapon you wanted. You know, together, those could actually... Well, I guess it takes like forever to get to Last Light in. But it's viable. You could walk around with 18 strength, 8, like, you know, and like 14 dex for a while. Then at level 5, you dip into Rosamund Monastery, grab... Well, yeah, you dip... Yeah, you... After level 5, you dip into Rosamund Monastery. The ruined fights are easy. Yeah, you go see the Quartermaster in Kresh Yelek, get 18 strength, and you're rolling with 18-18, and then you get this for 20-18, plus 1 to hit on that as well. And you're always free for an elixir slot. You could use elixirs of vigilance for, you know, simulating alert trait. And there's a few you can find in Act 1, and if you're judicious with them, you could... Ooh, you know, I think I just got... Ooh, guys, I just got... Well, yeah, I guess the thing is, like, you wouldn't have the AC I've had. But you know what? I actually just thought of an interesting build for this. Cannot be pushed against your will. Which is pretty good also, actually, for an Eldritch Knight, because you can't then be... yeah, that's actually really good. Because that means you can't be knocked prone. And you have advantage on saving throws against being restrained. Also very good. Baldur chatful and possibly knock your phones back 3 meters. Available only when rage. Oh, available only when raging. Okay, so this is actually for a barbarian then. Still, even without that, this is really good for an Eldritch Knight. Never thought about this, I have to say. Never considered this. But yeah, I think there's something there, and I just thought of a playthrough for it. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, obviously a lot to loot here. But I'll just do this in between, like, episodes, I think. I think we got all the lore out of this. One thing, actually, I did do, I forgot to mention, guys, in between episodes, I did do a sweep around Last Light Inn. I did pick up, you know, Corpus Ring, the Great Club and stuff from Marcus, as well as his Mind Player Parasite. I also went to the roof of Last Light Inn for the first time, and actually found the innkeeper's key, which I think opens the door to the basement. Yeah, which I never thought. It's in a bird's nest up there, so that's something that happened off screen in between episodes. Anyway, though, here let's go ahead and level up to level 8, right? Because that's exciting. Okay, level 8. So another 9 HP. Very welcome. 76 is now respectable. I mean, obviously enemies hit harder. We don't have crit protection. We do have 22 AC, however. So that's a positive. Now, expanded list. You add a wizard spell of your choice, your spellcasting repertoire, and this is a no-brainer. Well, no, actually, it's not a no-brainer, I would say. But it is a very good spell to have at this level 8, because now, okay, with our, you know, decent concentration, we get a +6. Yeah, and we'll have +7 once proficiency goes up. I think it's level 9. I'm not sure. But anyway, you know, we're basically now going to perma-blur ourselves every fight. At the start of every fight, the most valuable action you can take is just blur us. If we don't, and we don't often break concentration. Look, it will happen. We rolled critical roll here twice. I mean, it will happen. And when it happens, we're probably going to die. but let's not be, negative. But yeah, blur is a no-brainer. We don't need spell DC for it. We have 22 AC and blurred. Like, we're impossible to hit. And to be honest, yeah, it will be almost impossible to hit. And even then, when we do hit, we have very good constitution saving throw. So, you know, pretty darn good, if you ask me. What are the alternatives? The alternatives here is blindness, not a bad one. Blind a creature. Attack rolls against it have advantage, and the foe attacks with disadvantage. Constitution save. Now, our spell save DC isn't huge. It's +3, right? We do actually have 17 intelligence with the headband of intellect. However, the bleed weapon action, if it lands, and if you pass the lacerate check, which, you know, yes, you don't often actually get to pass it because it's not such a high check. But if you did make the opponent bleed, they would have disadvantage on Constitution saving throws, and you could then land blindness on them. And it's pretty good. They have, you know, but it's kind of like blur for one person, right? Because foe attacks with disadvantage, just like if you cast blur. But it also gives us advantage on the enemy, which is nice. However, you know, we need advantage on high AC enemies, right? Because on low AC enemies, we might as well just hit them with that action and kill them, which means it's likely a boss. If it's high AC, it's likely to be a boss. If it is a boss, it's unlikely to pass the lacerate. It's unlikely to fail the lacerate check. You're not going to lacerate them which means you're unlikely to land blind, and that itself takes like 2 turns to play out. And even then, lacerate does last 2 turns, which is great, but you know, they do get a saving throw, constitution saving throw every turn on against blindness, right? So they can be cured, which again sucks. And so even if you maintain that disadvantage for a couple of turns with lacerate, so they will be blind for a couple of turns, arguably that's enough to kill them, right? And this was one way. Well, actually, let's talk about our feat, right? But this kind of plays into having Great Weapon Master, which we'll talk about in a second. The blindness is sort of a potential. I think it has like potential, but blur is the winner. Cloud of Daggers, I mean, yes, I agree now with you guys. It's an amazing spell. However, it's amazing if you can upcast it. At here, taking up our concentration, I don't think this is good. I mean, also, sorry, something to say about blindness is that I think at level 10 or 11, Eldritch Knight gets Eldritch Strike, which means after we strike someone with our weapon, they get disadvantage on all of our spells, on all saving throws until the end of our next turn. So we can hit them this turn and then do something bad to them next turn. So, you know, in preparation for that, it would be nice to get some spells that will benefit from that. However, I mean, it's going to be another 2-3 levels, and we need to survive here and now. So again, Blur is the winner there. Now, there will be, of course, a Cloak in Act 3 that will perma-blur us. Questionable whether we want to take that and perhaps switch our concentration to something else, or do we want to use another Cloak instead and just keep concentrating on Blur? I would say getting that Cloak, having ourselves perma-blurred, and concentrating on Haste will be the winner. But let's see if that actually works out the way I think it will. But I think it might. Crown of Madness. Again, we've seen the other spells. I mean, to Detect Thoughts isn't really actually a bad option because it's a ritual spell outside of combat. So you can just like detect thoughts, everyone. Maybe not for us, but for a thematic playthrough, like in a slightly like a good Jedi, I would, you know, like I would actually, I'd pick that. I mean, I think that's a cool little thing. And, you know, I've never done Detect Thoughts with many characters, and I try to stay away from it as a scroll, to be honest, because I feel it's a bit unfair. Like, again, you have so many scrolls of it, and I really hate it, that it just, like, completely, you know, annuls, I don't know, completely, like, discredits, I don't know, like, what's the right word? I forgot the right word, but anyway, completely ruins many builds and the value of this as a spell, I think. I think it does. It just ruins it. That's why I try to stay away, and we'll do a playthrough someday where we make extensive use of Detect Thoughts. I think it's a good one. Enlarge, Reduce, concentration. Yeah, not sure. I mean, this is, you cast this, yes. This is not enlarge ourselves. This is, although maybe this is also make a creature large or small effect their weapon damage. Yeah, maybe we can cast, yeah, I think we can cast this on ourselves. So it could be a good one. But I mean, might as well Blur, to be honest. Except, you know, if we enlarge ourselves, we get like 1d4 on damage, and if we reduce ourselves, I think we get like +2 AC. AC could actually be kind of cool. But yeah, maybe not. Not a strong enough contender for Blur. Hold Person, same story as Blindness, although we don't have Pommel Strike with Glaives. If you're playing with a longsword, it could be a different story. But the same. And because Pommel Strike, apart from, you know, it gives daze, and daze give disadvantage and wisdom saving throws. So there's a lot of synergies with, you know, casters, and if you're using a weapon with a longsword. However, again, you want to hold person someone who is important. That important person is likely to succeed the check on Pommel Strike. Again, at level 11 or 10, I don't remember, we're going to get Eldritch Strike. And so at that point, we will pretty much always be able to cast one spell with the enemy having disadvantage to all saving throws. So, but we still need to wait two levels for that, so not now. Invisibility, not needed anywhere near as often. We can use it from our ring or from a potion. Knock, don't need. Magic weapon, we already have that from our glaive. Mirror image, completely useless at this point. It's only useful, I would say, in Act 1. Here, and when you're playing, you know, with more than one person, because with solo, even in Act 1, to be honest, we get hit more than 3 times per turn. Making yourself immune for a turn by spending an action and just waiting out that turn and do nothing is nothing, right? If you know what I mean. Whereas in Act 2, it's probably even worse because you wasted our action, which lets me have, what, 3 attacks at this point, because if I Booming Blade, extra attack, and then Warcaster attack, I already have 3 attacks, right? So Mirror Image is going to cost me 3 attacks, whereas most enemies have extra attacks, so 2 enemies alone can punch through our Mirror Image. Misty Step, very nice to have. We just obviously wasted all of our scrolls. We still have Dimension Door. But yeah, we're going to be running out of those spells, and we do have the boots, but aside from this just being there on demand, that's very useful. It's also a good thing to take this, and then the value of the boots is Nia's boots, I'd say, significantly reduced, and so we can just put something else on. Also not a bad option. Yeah, Phantasmal Killer, not enough damage, can't be upcast, kind of sucks. I really wish this was upcast. I really don't understand why it's not. Shadow Blade, different time. Here again, you can't upcast it, so it will always stay level 2. So yeah, for Eldritch Knight, to be honest, maybe it's never the time for it. But, possible. All of the other ones we've talked about before. Scorching Ray, very hard for us to land with 17 intelligence. So, we pick Blur. Replace spell, however, here. Now, we don't need Gust of Wind. It's not bad, but it's not great. And instead, we're going to switch it out for Misty Step here. Blindness would be very, very nice. Hold Person. But Hold Person, we have spells. I think we have a couple of spells of blindness as well. We'll stick with that. In terms of value, as in how much value we get out of the spell and how often we can use it, which are the 2 variables where you need to think about when you decide on things. This is highest value. Even though, yes, it can be you can get this from spells, but we're running out of those spells, and you can't get those reliably. And the good thing is you don't have a lot of Misty Step spells. You have a good amount of them, but you do tend to kind of spend them, even playing solo, which is interesting. But having this on demand all the time is great. It also opens up, because it's either the boots or the amulet that gives you Misty Step, and it kind of opens up that slot for you. And again, we don't need this all the time, but very good to have a strategic option. So I think that is great. I think that's great. We now will have 3. No, we won't. Maybe it's level 9. We get a 3rd level 3 spell slot. I believe we get one. At some point. Now. But anyway, right now we only have 2 level 2s, which is not great, really. I thought we get a 3rd spell slot here, but I was wrong, clearly. Anyway, yeah. So we could do 1 Blur per long rest and 1 Misty Step, but we don't do Misty Steps that often. Obviously, it's nice to have it as a back pocket. But to be honest, if we are blurring, we got extra reach. We can always escape attacks of opportunity. If it's just 1 attack, we don't need to Misty Step out of that. Now, if we're surrounded by 4 or 5 enemies and things have gone horribly wrong, well, hopefully we just pray. We either keep a scroll as well, we never use that, let's say 1 scroll. We have Dimension Door as well, but we'll also have, our own Misty Step to get us out of a bind. I find that, it's very enticing at the start, Nia's boots and the amulets, but in reality, you don't actually use Misty Step all that often, even solo, which I'm kind of surprised. But if you're smart, then you shouldn't have to. Misty Step is more of a, nice to have, I would say, and it can definitely save a run, that's for sure. A good Misty Step can save a run, that is 100%. But yeah, that's all we'll say about that. Let's get back to selecting a feat here. Now, options. 2 obvious options exist. Number one is to do a solo Ono mode run, right? You need to stay alive and you need to kill others, right? That's effectively what that's what Baldur's Gate 3 is, right? You also need to not get paralyzed, and you need to maybe pass some dialogue checks from time to time. But to be honest, yeah, you need to mostly pick the right dialogues so that you don't actually insta-die at certain points, which we managed to avoid so far. But generally, we need to save on wisdom because that can paralyze us. And otherwise, we just need to stay alive, which means having AC and HP. Now, you're not going to stay alive via HP solo, so you need AC. We have 22 AC. That's plenty, especially at this point, as I discussed before. It's not just about how much AC you have, but when you get that AC, right? Having 22, 22 AC at effectively start of Act 2 is very different from having 22 at, well, start of Act 3, we're probably still gonna have 22 AC, but you know what I mean. Like, we started this game effectively with 18 AC, because at level 3 in Blighted Village we already had 18. Having 18 in Blighted Village is very different from having 18 at the start of Act 2. But we have 22 AC and we have Blur now, permanently, pretty much, right? Permanently. So we are very... and we have concentration saving throw, and we have 76 HP, so we're very survivable. And we have extra reach, all of that good stuff. And we have now potions of invisibility. We're very survivable. Outside of like 2 or 3 unlucky crits, even 2 you could say, we should survive. And thus, we also need to kill people. Now we do good damage. We do good damage, right? And we have plenty of attacks. And you know, you need to act like action economy needs to be in your favor as well on a mode solo. We have plenty. Like, we've done everything right. I think this is a super strong build. However, obviously, more damage is always better, right? That is true. Thus, we're obviously going with Polar Master. We're using two-handed weapons. Obviously, Great Weapon Master comes to mind, right? What does it do? When you land a critical hit or kill a target with a melee weapon attack, you can make another melee weapon attack as a bonus action that turn. For us, this is effectively negated. Why? Because we have Polar Master, so we can always do an attack with the butt of our weapon, so with a bonus, regardless of whether we have critical hit or melee weapon attack. Now, of course, main hand attack is better than that attack, although that attack does bludgeoning damage, so in some instances that will be better. That attack is about 70% of our normal damage, so yes, main attack is better, but only about 30%. Access to this is irrelevant for us because we get that from Polar Master. On top of it all, we get it from Warcaster, right? We really don't need this. Like, we really don't. It's redundant. So we don't get this part of the feat, and thus it's already devalued for us. The second, but to be honest, I don't think people really get this for this part. This is like 20% of the value. 80% of the value of Great Weapon Master lies in the second part. Attacks with melee weapons you are proficient with and are wielding in both hands can deal an additional 10 damage at the cost of a -5 attack roll penalty. You can toggle this on and off. The good thing that we can toggle it, plus 10 damage on every hit is great, right? Just flat. Because right now we do what? 5 from our stat, either strength or later on dexterity, so 5 damage. We do +2 because we have a +2 glaive, so 7. We have elemental weapon on our weapon, so we do 8. So we do at least 8, plus our weapon is obviously 1 die 10. Well, sorry, we have 1 die 4 cold, so we do 1 more, so 9. Our weapon is 1 die 10, that's another 1. So we do 10 damage. Arcane Synergy, after our first hit, gives us a permanent 3 from our casting ability, so we do at least 13 damage. At least. Now, on our 1 die 4 cold roll, on average, we should do 2 damage, right? So we do, in fact, we should actually do 3 damage on average because we have Savage Attacker and Great Weapon Master, re-rolling that. So we will roll 1 or 2. And also, you know, we generally roll twice. So we should get another 3. So we should do at least 16 damage. And that's saying that we get 1 to 1. We score 1 always on our 1 die 10 with a weapon. We never really roll a 1 or a 2. So we should get at least 3 with that weapon because of Great Weapon Fighting. Thus we do, I already said what, I already lost count to be honest, 13, 16. But anyway, you know the maths. Because we have Savage Attacker, we're likely to roll more of a 6, 7, 8 on average with our 1 die 10 die on the polearm. So bringing it all together, plus we have Booming Blade on that first hit, we basically do 20 to 25 damage a hit anyway. So 10 damage on that would be a 50% increase still, and that's guaranteed, right? So around a 50, and if you take just guaranteed damage, then to be honest, this is almost like a, not 100% increase, but 75% increase, right? And if you just use the average statistics, it's probably about a 50% increase in damage. Nothing to sniff at, that is for sure. We're going to get third attack at level 11 with the fighter, so this is effectively 30 damage on our attacks with Action Surge and an Alpha Strike, which can often decide the course of the fight and the run, therefore, right? Because we Alpha Strike the toughest enemy, that's 60 guaranteed damage. 60, right? That is a lot. However, obviously it comes with a drawback. It comes with -5 to attack roll penalty. That's -25%. If you've seen, our attack rolls are generally about, I would say, 80 to 80% right now, I'd say, on average. Now, sometimes they're 95%. And taking 95%, taking away 25, that would bring it down to 70, which is still respectable. However, those are all little enemies that are ultimately inconsequential, and we probably overkill them with damage anyway. We're unlikely to still one-shot them, I would say, even with 10 extra. Whereas, we're hitting them twice is going to overkill. And so they don't really matter. And with 95% certainty, I would rather hit them twice, but be sure they're dead, rather than have 70% accuracy and sort of like overkill them with damage but potentially miss one hit and not kill them, right? So kind of little enemies don't matter. Bosses have high AC. High AC means we're not going to have our average 80%. We're not going to have 95%. We're going to have more like 80, maybe even 75, 60. And that means turning on Great Weapon Master will reduce our chance to hit to more like 45, 50, which is unacceptable. Now, mathematically, Savage Attacker versus Great Weapon Master, if you hit 3 hits with Savage Attacker, it is the same damage on average as hitting 2 hits out of 3 with Great Weapon Master. So if you hit 3 out of 3 with Great Weapon Master, obviously it's more damage. If you hit 1 with Great Weapon Master, then it's less than Savage Attacker. The 2/3 mark is kind of the threshold. So if you can achieve 65% plus chance to hit consistently with Great Weapon Master, you should take it, right? And I don't think we can do that. I don't think we can achieve an average 65%. I don't think we can. At least on the enemies that actually matter. Arguably, you could say, okay, sometimes you can one-shot weak enemies, and this would help us do that. And if you one-shot lots of little enemies, then you can go with the strategy of killing all the minions and then facing the boss, right? Yeah, possibly. But again, because we're solo, I'd rather have the certainty, I'd rather get damage from any other source than this. I don't think we can afford -5. This really works. I think this works perfectly on barbarians because you get reckless attack, therefore you get consistent advantage. Works on some other classes that you wouldn't really think it does, but it does. But I'll hang on to that because I think there's some very interesting builds to do with that. But yeah. With that said, yeah, Great Weapon Master, obvious choice, but I don't think we can afford it. I would love to have it. And there is potential to get Rabbit at level 12. But the thing is, regardless of leveling up, we're not really getting any more, that logic of high ace, boss, and the enemies you want to kill and the enemies you want to do a lot of damage to have high AC. And there is no way to compensate this -5 attack roll penalty, right? Because it's not like we're hitting with 95% everything, right? We're hitting everything with more like 80%, which I like, but you saw like sometimes we miss like 3 75% in a row. So I want to keep our accuracy 75% plus for sure on this run. Because we apply Booming Blade, it means so much to us to hit, we apply Eldritch, this Eldritch Strike later on. We have Warcaster. So many things for us trigger on a hit that a miss isn't even just not doing damage. It actually means a lot more. So yeah, Great Weapon Master, unfortunately, is a no. And what is another alternative? Another alternative is to go ability improvement here and get our dex to 20 naturally. Now, we already have 20 dex because we have 17 plus Onti-Ethel 18 plus 2 from our Graceful Cloth equals 20. Graceful Cloth gives plus 2, but only up to 20. So why would we get this up to 20 ourselves? Well, it's because it would enable us to take some other armors on. There is one armor in, actually I forgot, in Moonrise Towers that I forgot to look at that could help us. I will point it out when we're in Moonrise Towers next, if we decide to go with this, although I don't think we will, because I think I already made up my mind. But this is a possible. We could also get plus 2 Constitution, get more HP. How much HP? Well, at level 8 we get plus 8 HP, and then we get 1 HP per 1 point, so by the end of the game we'll have plus 12 HP. It's not nothing, it sounds kind of like not a lot, but it's not nothing. it's something. However, we're obviously playing for high AC and blur, so we shouldn't be hit. However, 12 HP. We've been at 1 HP twice this game, right? So it can save a run. It doesn't change like every fight, but it could save a run like once or twice. Also, however, getting +2 in con will give us plus another saving throw in Constitution, which allow us to maintain our blur if we do get hit. So, that's a positive. We could get +2 in Wisdom, get another saving throw. +3 in all checks, perception, all of that good stuff, right? I think that's an option. Could rectify our lack of charisma. But to me that goes against the roleplay here. Intelligence we don't need because we're wearing a headband of intellect. Strength we obviously don't need, although in a different playthrough, as we discussed, you could do +2 here. You could do +2 dex here. I could do a lot of things here. So yeah, ability improvement. It's always an option. Like you can't go wrong with this sort of thing. However, we don't really have armors. Well, there's one armor in Moonrise Towers available that would actually. Well, I'll just tell you now, I guess. But there's a light cloth armor. It's really made for barbarians, so like we lose half of its benefit. I can't remember what it's called, but it does give +2 to Constitution up to 20. So if we gave ourselves +2 to Dex right now, we could go to Moonrise Towers, wear that armor, and get +2 to Constitution as well. So again, giving that +1 to saving throws, +8 HP, which is, we get +9 HP per level as well. That's worth mentioning. So we get a level worth, we're a level ahead in HP kind of thing. And then later on we can wear other armors without losing any initiative or, chance to hit or any of that. Or AC, right? Because this gives us AC as well. So we can then take off the Graceful Cloth. However, I'd rather keep Graceful Cloth right now. I like the jump distance. I like the advantage on dexterity just to keep the playthrough like simple and easy. So I'm not really sure we want to change from this. I also really like the way it looks. After it kind of really grew on me. I think it fits our character like perfectly. I really want to change these boots though. But I think it fits our character, like with these braces. Like I just love the way he looks. I really wish there was an option to hide the cape and the weapon, just like with helmets, but I guess not. But anyway, let's get on to the feat. So this is an option. Other than that, like what do we have? Actor, you could get alert, right? You saw we started losing initiatives at some point. However, I think it's kind of a little late. We're already past a lot of checks. We're still rolling good initiative. Not great, but it's good. And we have survivability. So we can survive if we are second. It's not the end of the world. Also, at some point, we will kind of wean ourselves off of the Hill Giant Strength Elixir. And so we'll be able to take an elixir. And one contender for that is definitely Elixir Vigilance, right? We can get that consistency. We'll basically replace this feat with that elixir, because we always have a slot for it. So we'll kind of transition to that, and I think that's what we're going to do. But of course we have to survive Act 2 first. So arguably alert could be an option here. It kind of goes thematically with our character, right? Nimble, sort of cloth-based fighter. He's all about staying quick, staying mobile, like striking first. So it makes sense here. Athlete, obviously I know we don't need a +1, we don't need the jump we have from, well actually we don't even get, we no longer wear the Swazi shoes, or we have the glaive, so our jump is just from our strength, which we will eventually lose, to be honest. So yeah, to be honest, maybe like if you wanted to do +1 to dexterity and then pick something else that gives you a +1 in dex at level 12, maybe, because actually jump distance by 50% could be nice. You rarely go prone, really, so that doesn't matter. So, nah, not really. Charger, I really want to make use of this, but I have never found a way to use this. I have like one playthrough where I might use it, but this is really underwhelming. Really, really underwhelming, to be honest. Prospects, obviously, we don't need. Defensive Duelist, when attacked while wielding a finesse weapon you're proficient with, you can use a reaction to add your proficiency bonus to your armor class, possibly causing the attack to miss. Actually, in Act 3, we will be picking up a finesse weapon, finally. So this would actually be very nice. So we'll get +4 AC, but, and it can work in a different playthrough. However, And a different class, to be honest. Why in a different playthrough? Because we already have Polar Master, and we want to use our reaction to get the extra attack, get extra damage, get the action economy, so to speak, onto our side. Even if we don't get the Polar Master off, right? Or an opportunity attack off, we want it for our shield, right? That's the second best, and arguably sometimes the best use of our reaction. So do we really want to get a +4 once when we have shield available? In fact, having said that out loud now, I think if you have shield available, you would never want to use this. Exactly, you would just use, yeah. So forget about this actually. Yeah, forget about this. Dual wielder was not dual wielding. Dungeon Delver, advantage perception check made detected in objects and saving throws to avoid resisting traps. I don't know, I mean, resistance to the damage dealt by traps. I mean, I'm all for, and I think I found a way, like, we will have playthrough, guys, where we make use of feats that, like Defensive Duelist, where, you know, with that build, it actually works. I think this is one of those that are, like, so shit, pardon me, so shit, I don't know how to use this. This is like, if you're playing a party of 4, okay, you put it on your rogue, and you have no idea what you're doing, but complete shit. Just complete shit. Could at least give it advantage on all perception checks. There's so many items that do that. Like, you know, get advantage on like perception and investigation, you know, and this and that. I don't know. Anyway, we spend enough time here. Durable, yeah, obviously not for us. Again, we have AC, we're tanky, we don't need a, yeah, no. Elemental Adept, resistance, your spells and attacks ignore resistance to damage of your choice. To be honest, for Eldritch Knight, we could ignore to Thunder and make our weapon do Thunder. I believe we can with the elemental weapon. And, you know, just punch through Thunder regardless of what, but we don't really do all that much Thunder damage, right? So, probably not. Master we talked about, we're obviously not heavy armor, none of this. Lucky, yeah, maybe, but not really. Only 3 times per long rest. We don't really need that. We have a good chance to hit. I mean, we have advantage on wisdom already anyway. So, no. Mage Slayer, again, very situational. Kind of, again, one of those. Very hard to pick. But anyway, we go through all of these, and then we arrive. We arrive at Martial Adept. You learn 2 maneuvers from the Battle Master subclass and gain a superiority die to fuel them. You regain expanded superiority dice after a short or long rest. Superiority dice are die 8s. You have 1 at fighter level 10. These dice become d10s. They fuel your Battle Master maneuvers and are expended upon use. You regain expended superiority dice after short or long rest. You know, I've never actually read this. Does this mean that if we reach fighter Eldritch Knight fighter level 10, we also get this upgraded to d10s? I think we do. Now, we only get 1 of these. I really wish it was 2, but it would probably make Battle Master absolutely OP. I frankly think Battle Master as a base class should have 1 less because they replenish on short rest, whereas and this Martial Adept should give 2, I think, and you could like double down on your Battle Master. But this one is tricky. I feel like it's like, oh, it's just, I've never seen anyone use it. People generally shit on it. Or they kind of say the only reason you would take this is if you're already playing Battle Master and you just want 1 more battle dice. Because, yeah, it obviously builds on that. And, I mean, you don't actually need, I don't think, maneuvers. I think even Battle Master, like, you pick all the good maneuvers anyway. But you do get 1 dice. And you get that early on. You could get that level 4, level 6, or level 8 as Battle Master, because it's only at level 10 or something, I think you get an additional 1 or 2 dice. But for our playthrough here, given that we'll run through these, but we can run through these quickly now. Medium Armor Master we don't need. Mobile, if we do melee attack, you don't provoke opportunity attacks. That's actually great because we could then permanently hit people, booming blade them like non-stop, and trigger our Polar Master every single time, right? So your movement speed increases and difficult terrain doesn't slow you down when you dash, right? Which, you know, together with taking Expeditious Retreat, for example, we could actually have a dash on our bonus action. And so we could be dashing around all the time, but that's just difficult terrain. You don't really encounter that much difficult terrain anyway. So just increasing movement speed would make us more mobile. We already have Long Strider, though, right? Arguably, we could replace Long Strider then with something else, or we could just double down on movement speed and just keep running and kiting. What this allows us to do with Eldritch Knight, however, and Polar Master, is, if we were playing with a longsword, same build, but yeah, guys can try it, with a finesse longsword, for example, I think this is an amazing feat to take, because then, after making a melee attack, you don't provoke opportunity attacks from your... Well, it's all from your target. Oh, it's from your target. That sucks. Well, I mean, in any case, it's still good because, you would hit someone, you basically you can proc Booming Blade and... you don't proc Polar Master anymore, so you kind of have to go Polar Master. But you would at least proc Booming Blade all the time, is what I'm trying to say, right? Which is great. That's what it allows. With Polar Master, you would proc Booming Blade and Polar Master attack as an opportunity attack all the time. Literally almost like every turn. However, to be honest, like with Boots of Speed, we can click heals, get our dash, right? And give everyone disadvantage on our on opportunity attacks against us. But even given the fact that we have blur on ourselves, people are unlikely to hit us with opportunity attacks anyway. So this is kind of maybe, and in a slightly different build, this could work, but it's not. It's not for us. Not this playthrough. More lamps obviously no. Like, oh, this is obviously all like kind of no. Ritual caster. I mean, what could we even get for that? Yeah, really not much. So we don't need anything. The jump, don't care. Don't care about anything else here. Sentinel, we already tried. My thinking was that we would have Polar Master, Sentinel, and Savage Attacker at 4, 6, and 8. We tried it. It doesn't work the way it's supposed to, I would say. And what I've read about it, it was supposed to work that way, but it doesn't, so fine. If you were playing as a duo, sure, you could get at least the value of having Vengeance, but you don't get Snare. Yeah, I mean, if you were playing as a duo, actually, maybe you could still keep this, maybe, right? You get advantage. Arguably, you could even go Great Weapon Master because you at least have advantage on opportunity attacks. So every time someone ran into your, sphere, if you had it turned on, you'd hit them with a Great Weapon Master and with advantage. So this could actually work with Great Weapon Master in a slightly different scenario and with a duo, because you'd have an ally next to you, and so every time they get hit, you would hit someone else. So again, helping that action economy. But yeah, Shield Master, obviously none of this is for us. Yeah. But coming back to Martial Adept, we get 1 superiority die. It's a D8. It's once per short rest. So effectively once per fight, because we typically rest after every fight if it's a hard one, because we get Action Surge. But we do get, 1 die 8 damage, which with Savage Attacker, means we actually get, 6, 7 damage on 1 attack. Not bad, right? It's not bad. We also get a bit of versatility, because we've kind of pigeonholed, or I don't know, kind of restricted ourselves to glaives, right? We get Lacerate, we get Cleave with this glaive, we'll get other things with the glaive we'll get in Act 3, but we never have, for example, Disarming Attack. You can get that with a Trident polearm if you wanted to as well, but not with a glaive. So here, we could disarm someone. The DC on this, I believe, is 10 plus your ability modifier, so 15, right? So, and it's a strength saving throw as well. So if enemies have, there's a 25% chance, 75% chance for us to succeed, 25% chance for enemy to fail. However, obviously they often have high strength. But let's say you're attacking a boss that has a +5 to strength saving throws, right? Or like, some big enemy. It's still a 50-50. And disarming, yes, it's a 50-50, and if you fail it, you basically fail it. But if you succeed, it completely negates that enemy. Completely. Even a boss, right? And there's lots of things you can disarm. So I think disarming is actually huge. Huge. Super strong. Now, there's an added caveat in that many enemies simply don't fight with a weapon. There's many monsters, they just don't fight with a weapon, so you can't disarm them. Well, for that, that obviously sucks, but for that, we get something else. And I would suggest we get Trip Attack as our second bait. Spend the superiority die to make an attack that deals an additional 1 die 8 and possibly knocks the target prone. Again, we get a little bit of damage, not bad, and we possibly trip them. And what happens when we trip them? When we trip them, we gain advantage on them. So if we can do that on our Alpha Strike, right, on a tough enemy at the very start, we could then pound them with, and at level 11 we'll have 3 extra attacks, right? Plus our Warcaster bonus attack. So we could have 7 attacks on them well, minus this attack. So 6 attacks with advantage. So we could really pound them. I mean, it kind of makes you wish you had Great Weapon Master. And again, if you went with a sword, you could. But then I mean, you only get this once. And again, it's probably like a 50-50, maybe 75% chance at most to happen. So yeah, not too reliable, but can work. Also, though, trip attack ends, because it makes people go prone, it ends concentration immediately. It also stops people from reacting, right? So any legendaries that use a reaction, I think, that would stop them, although you're unlikely to trip a legendary. But any other, I guess, again, enemy where we need to disengage, right, to, again, re-trigger our polearm, make them move again, and trigger Booming Blade, you know, trip attack is great for that. And that works on all monsters, right? So I think this could actually be really good for us on monsters. And if it's not monsters, it's good to disarm. It was even in one of those Githyanki fights, guys, as you remember, you know, even if it's 3, 4, 5, you know, enemies that are not legendaries, but are something like, you know, 80 HP, you know, great sword fighters with extra attack, disarming even one of them can turn the tide of battle. I really do think so, right? And we get the 1d8 damage, like only once per thing. That's why I really wish this was two of them. We get a 1d10 later, apparently, so it's a bit like having a guaranteed crit, because in a crit we roll our, you know, 1d10 twice. So I would suggest, for that reason, and also to try something new, and also because there isn't really any other good choice, and also to keep with the theme of us being this super, like, nimble, like, you know, one-on-one champion fighter. I'm hoping about some sort of god or something. You know, I think thematically, mathematically, immersively, this fits really, really well. And I always wanted to try this. If this doesn't work and it kind of sucks, I will allow ourselves to respec. But I mean, what's respec? Respec is ability improvement. That's so boring. So we could get like +1 con, but come on, you gotta live a little. Gotta live a little. So yeah, I think this is what we go with. Well, let's go over our other maneuvers so that you guys understand my choice between disarming and trip. What are other options? Commander strike, we obviously don't have any allies. Distracting strike, again, don't have any other allies. Evasive footwork, we can get that with boots of speed. Yeah, right. It doesn't cost an action. Disadvantage on melee attacks against you for a round. But we already have blur as well, actually. Sorry, I forgot. It's not just opportunity attacks, it's all attacks. So yeah, we basically have blur. This is like a one-turn blur. So this is kind of a replacement, I would say, for Battle Master, replacement of blur, but obviously a worse version. Although it doesn't require concentration, but it's only one turn. Painting attack, action, bonus action. So we missed 2 attacks, but we attacked with advantage and 1d8. Not really. Our attacks are so powerful, and our chance to hit should be so high that we don't need this. Goading attack, attacking only you, there's no one else to attack. Maneuvering attack, on hit, it's like, which friendly creature? We don't have a friendly creature. Menacing attack, could be, we frighten an enemy. Many enemies can't be frightened, have resistance to frighting. Again, they have disadvantage on attacks, which is good. Well, we already have blur, we have advantage on them, which is good. They also can't move if they're frightened. So this one is a contender, I would say, a contender. Also works on monsters and humans alike, so those who can't be disarmed can always be menaced. Almost always. But maybe not. Precision attack, again, works well with Great Weapon Master, maybe. But here, we should be okay. And given we only have 1 dice, this doesn't really change anything. Pushing attack is actually a good one. I actually considered this for a long time, because it would be nice for us to force someone out of our area, because again, that procs Booming Blade later on, and it also procs our Polearm Master. However, I would value trip attack better than that, because trip attack we can actually follow up with more hits while they're prone. And pushing attack, it's only 1 guy. We could just risk it, and you know, given our high AC and blur, they probably won't miss us anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem. Rally, obviously 8 temporary hit points not worth. We can just do false life or whatever. Many things we can do. Sweeping attack. Bring your weapon in a rapid sweeping arc to attack multiple enemies. You roll your superiority die for damage. So 1d10 for damage there. I don't know if this actually carries the riders from your weapon. If it does, it's actually not bad, because it's effectively our main hand attack. We already have a 1d10, right? So it's kind of the same. But we have Cleave with Drake Thread Glove, and we'll have other things later on as well. So I think these are the only option And I kind of feel this is another reason why this fits perfectly for our character. Because these are the only two that we really need. I think we'll make use of them. But with that said, let's go ahead and accept, right? So in summary, we got ourselves Blur, we got ourselves Misstep, we got ourselves Martial Adept. I think thematically fits really, really well with our character. Go ahead and accept. Big level, guys. I can't believe how long I took with that. Let me see where we are. Oh my god, I can't believe we're 1 hour 20 in. Dang. Okay. Well, okay. Let's maybe run up here. Well, you guys know about this, don't you? Okay, let's actually end the episode here. You obviously know there is stuff here to loot. I'll loot everything in between episodes, and then we decide what we do next. I'm actually not 100% sure. Do we go in the basement here? Do we explore Shadow Curse lands? We'll see. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed that. That was a good fight. Yeah, I guess a level up. Maybe I make this a 2-part episode as well, actually, because we obviously spent a long time chatting about level ups. I love to geek out on that. You know, I'm sure there's a good portion of you that do, probably a portion of you that do not. But yeah, hopefully though, yeah, you enjoyed that. But yeah, let's make a break here, see how this works out for us. By the way, yeah, another benefit of those martial feats is that we can use them with a bow as well, which sometimes may come in handy. I'm gonna move them over here, like so. Yeah, anyway, I'll sort out the bar in between episodes. But I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. In fact, let's make it a 3-bar, because I think we have a lot going on now. I'll sort that out in between levels, though. Anyway, guys, big fight, big things happening, carnage, havoc, and level 8. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.